Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for update 46 of Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. We're going to start off, as always, with a quick sound check. Make sure speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, we have all of the stuff that you've been seeing this past month, all of the Shorties, the new QC9 SMG here, as well as some major upgrades to the Soldier-Weiner-Bots that those of you who've been playing on the beta branch have been testing out and fighting against. So let's jump right into it. We're not going to be... I've already shown you the new guns, the various sorts of extra sort of chopped alternates and such that have been in the past video, so I'm not going to go over those again. I'm going to jump right into talking about our big gameplay update, which is our configurable Soldier-Bot spawner. So the way this basically works is that the types of soldier bots, which before just had, sort of a revolver that was ported over from Worst World, now have 4 different weapon options. You can see here, pistol, shotgun, SMG, and rifle. I made one of each so far. You can select their armor type, sort of level 1, which is just a helmet, level 2, which is a helmet and body armor, level 3, which is helmet, body armor, and face armor, or random. You can change their health. By default, they default to meaty, which is how they've basically been so far. You can set them down to sort of human level health, meaning that it's only going to be like 1 shot to the upper section and say about 2 shots to the mid or lower section, or just 1 if it's a powerful enough round, or spongy, which makes them just absolute bullet sponges, which is especially if you want to be playing with one of the firearms like the minigun or something that's just ridiculously powerful and want some more of a challenge, that's in there for you. You can also alter their perception and movement abilities. Once again, the defaults here are basically how they've been behaving thus far. Raising the perception or lowering it does things like changes their sort of like view cone, how rapidly they can sort of like shift their weapon, how far away you can be from them when they fire, etc. And then the movement setting is basically how fast both they move, their maximum speeds, their acceleration, and everything related to that. And so once we configure how we want things, I'm going to set them down to only taking a hit or 2. Is we can spawn them into the environment one of 2 ways. You can either just select a certain amount of them to spawn and spawn a manual group into the level and go deal with them, or you can enable auto spawning. The way auto spawning works is that you pick an upper bound limit, 3, 6, 9, or 12, and how fast you want them to spawn. Slow will pop a new one in about every 10 to 20 seconds. Medium will pop one in every, say, 5 to 10, and fast will add them faster than you can remove them from the level. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to like medium and 6 here. If you die, basically it despawns all of the bots and it turns off auto spawning. So once you respawn here, if you just want to jump right into how you were playing and how you were fighting before, all you have to do is just hit the auto spawn system again, jump right back in. So let's give this a shot. I've got a arm swinger on here because that's my favorite. Oh, one thing. A couple people asked how I'm getting such smooth movement out of it. I'm holding both of the menu buttons down at once. If you just hold one and arm swing, oh goodness, it's a bit staccato. Oh goodness. Let's see, where'd this one up here. Oh, there he is. You'll also notice in a moment that they can drop something too. Let's see if we can get one to drop it. Where's that coming from? Let's go into the tunnels.
Get back here.
I know the bots are still using the vocal hooks from Worst World. That'll be replaced in the next update. Okay, good. Thought I heard something. Okay. Taking cover. Oh, I'm out.
You cheat.
Oh, they're right there. Grenade. And there we go. More. And that will just refill your health.
One dog town.
Oh goodness! No!
Did you hear? It's a one dog town.
Let's see if we can run ourselves back up to the spawn area to go ahead and turn auto spawn off. Doop. Turn off auto spawn, clear all bots. So yeah, that gives you a sense of how this works. Now this panel is in the mini arena here, and it's in the larger arena. I'm going to go ahead and jump out of VR for a moment to show you some of the things that are different about the bots beyond their new firearms. And then after that, at the end, I'm going to just have some more footage of me fighting them with various sorts of weapons and settings in the two environments.
Yo! So we're out of VR now. Let's talk about what is new and different about the way the bots are actually fighting. So the big sort of breakthrough I had in terms of getting more interesting behavior out of them in these indoor environments is what I call a sort of dynamic firearm reposing system. Prior to this update, the way that the firing behavior and visibility functioned for the soldier bots basically is that a vision check was done from the sort of centroid of the head towards the player, sort of oscillating between the sort of head and body with some radial offset to better represent the fact that you're a volume and not a point. And alongside this, basically the bot sort of held its firearm down about here, which meant, and you may have experienced this in both in Worst World and in the mini arena, there are many cover situations where you're behind cover, the bot can see you, but because the bot is holding their weapons so low, they basically fire away and the rounds just immediately hit the cover and they have no way to respond to that. And it was what was basically making them less interesting to fight in sort of cramped, sort of cover-based situations, because you could sort of, I wouldn't say cheat, but you could basically use the cover to your advantage, taking advantage of the fact that the bot's sort of gun was welded to it. That's been fixed and changed. Basically, for each of the firearms that a bot can have, there are a number of different sort of stance positions emulating how you might actually be firing that. So for a two-handed weapon, it can fire it sort of on its main side, it can come over here, it can lift it up over here on the center, it can fire it low, forward like that. And what the bot is doing as it fights you is it's perpetually, in addition to its vision checks, doing this second set of check cycles, one per frame so it remains performant, sort of testing all of the different angles that it could fire from, and they're sorted by a sort of priority, by what the most stable position that the bot could be firing the firearm for. And there's a bunch of sort of rate limiters so it doesn't just go like this back and forth with the gun if you're sort of juking a bunch. But what it basically means is that as the bot is engaging you from all of these different angles, if it can see you, there's likely a position that it can hold the firearm in to actually be able to hit you, and it will always try to do that. So that, in and of itself, was sort of a huge improvement to the system. And as part of, so I'm doing I have several other improvements planned for this month. I want to add in some more sort of like juking and dodging behaviors, especially if you're up close to the bot, where it sort of goes off of its waypoint system momentarily to respond just in this very sort of kinematic, immediate way, and then sort of goes back to the waypoint system when it's appropriate to. So obviously, in terms of what's in the rest of the update, there's all of the shorties from a couple videos ago. There's a QC9. There is some subtle changes to the joystick locomotion that have been in beta now for a couple weeks. Alternate hand pose for the tactical flashlight. I removed the stamina system from the joystick locomotion. I think I fixed, there's a certain percentage of Oculus users that have had this weird initialization bug when the game loads up and it has one controller's correct and the other one isn't. It appears to be a sort of a race condition, and I've had this before where sort of like things in parallel are loading as fast as they can, and on most machines they load in the correct order, and then for some reason on some machines they don't, and everything fails after that initialization wise. So I've added a couple extra guards and things like that that should hopefully fix that issue. So yeah, so that's about it in terms of the miscellaneous fixes. Obviously check the whole changelog. I already have a queue for a bunch more fixes that I intend to do over the next month. Some of them had to wait because most of this past week I've actually been working on the 5.6 upgrade, which I was gonna initially sneak in for this update, and then I was like, no, enough things have changed, and as I found out this past week broken, I want 5.6 to get a whole month-long sort of like, or at least 2-week-long beta ramp up. So basically, this update 46, is going to be the last Unity 5.5 update, and then sometime next week I'm going to be pushing the first 5.6 beta to the beta branch. Just so you know, people who play on the beta branch, some stuff may be broken. I need to do a whole bunch of testing with it. The nav mesh system was heavily changed in Unity, and it's breaking all sorts of things. And I haven't fully performance tested everything, especially with the sort of graphical upgrades that the game is getting. So just be aware, if you end up staying on the beta branch after I push update 46 here, it may be a rocky road for the first like week or two. Cool. So with that, I'll stop gabbing, and I'll just leave you with a bunch of video that I took fighting in the mini arena and the arena with a variety of weapons, so that you can see how the new Soldier-Weiner-Bots are fighting. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend and enjoy the update. Peace.
I'm gonna find you.
Shoot.
Where'd he go? I'm gonna find you. You get back here. You get back here. You get back here. I'll find you. I'll find you. Need some of this. You cheat. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh, here's somewhere. It's a one dog